The USA is not only known for its historic haunted sites, but also for its deeply haunted abandoned places. These forgotten locations, old prisons, asylums, ghost towns, and shut-down hospitals, are filled with eerie silence, ghostly figures, and terrifying legends. From the crumbling halls of Waverly Hills Sanatorium to the haunted rides of Lake Shawnee Amusement Park, spirits are said to still linger. Many of these places witness tragedy, pain, or mystery, leaving behind restless souls. Paranormal investigators and thrill seekers visit often, hoping to witness the unexplained. These abandoned spots are among the most haunted in the country. Now we will visit the most haunted abandoned places in the USA. Number 1. Eastern State Penitentiary. In the heart of Philadelphia stands the crumbling and cold stone structure of Eastern State Penitentiary, once one of the most advanced prisons in the world, and now considered one of the most haunted places in the entire United States. Built in 1829, it was designed to hold inmates in complete isolation. Prisoners lived alone, ate alone, and exercised alone. Even guards wore padded shoes to maintain the silence. It was meant to encourage reflection and repentance, but instead, it drove many inmates to madness. Today, the prison is abandoned, yet it feels very much alive. Visitors often describe the building as having a heavy, dark energy. Echoes of the past seem to hang in the air. Cold drafts sweep through long corridors where no windows are open, and distant whispers are heard when no one else is around. Paranormal investigators and tourists have shared some of the most terrifying stories from this haunted place. One chilling tale is of Cell Block 12, where people report hearing eerie laughter and whispering voices, despite the block being completely empty. In Cell Block 4, a dark shadow figure has been seen sliding along the walls, watching silently before vanishing. Another frightening account comes from the guard tower, where a former security officer claimed he saw a faceless figure staring down at him from above when the tower was locked and empty. Then there's the story of the locksmith who was restoring a cell door when he suddenly froze. He claimed a terrible force gripped him, and he saw ghostly faces lining the walls around him. He dropped his tools and fled. Many believe he had awakened something that had been locked away for years. Another infamous legend involves Al Capone, who served time at Eastern State. He complained of being haunted by the ghost of a man named James Clark, one of the victims of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. Capone would scream at night, begging the ghost to leave him alone. In Cell Block 6, visitors say they've heard footsteps pacing endlessly, but when they check, no one is there. Lastly, one of the most terrifying reports comes from tourists who see ghostly figures peeking around corners or darting across hallways, only to vanish when followed. Eastern State is no longer home to inmates, but something still walks its halls. Number 2. Villisca Axe Murder House. In the quiet town of Villisca, Iowa, there stands a small white house with a dark and chilling past. Known as the Villisca Axe Murder House, this simple-looking home has become one of the most haunted places in America. On the night of June 10, 1912, 8 people, including 6 children, were brutally murdered inside with an axe. The killer was never caught, and the mystery still hangs over the house like a heavy shadow. Today, visitors say the house feels frozen in time, with the same furniture, eerie silence, and an unsettling presence that never left. Many people who have spent the night there report terrifying experiences. One of the most well-known stories involves footsteps creaking across the upstairs floor when no one is there. Guests say it sounds like someone pacing, over and over, as if restless and angry. Another chilling report comes from the children's bedroom, where visitors have heard giggles, whispers, and even seen toys move on their own. Some guests have seen doors open and close by themselves, as if invisible hands are still moving through the home. One woman claimed that during a night tour, she saw a shadowy figure standing at the foot of the bed, only to vanish when she turned on her flashlight. Others have seen dark shapes peeking around corners or darting into rooms with no exit. One terrifying account tells of a man who entered the house mocking the spirits. He soon felt lightheaded and passed out in the exact spot where one of the victims was killed. When he woke up, he was disoriented and terrified, claiming he felt something inside him. Another guest reported hearing faint cries and a soft voice saying, "Help me," from the dark hallway upstairs. Even the attic, where it's believed the killer may have waited before striking, gives off a deep sense of dread. Some visitors refuse to even step inside, saying they feel watched and unwelcome. One paranormal team caught what sounded like a man's voice whispering, "I killed them," on a recorder. The Villisca Axe murder house might be small, but it holds a massive amount of fear, sorrow, and unanswered questions. And whatever lingers there doesn't seem ready to rest. Number 3. Helltown. Hidden deep in the woods of Summit County, Ohio, lies a place known by one chilling name, Helltown. Once a quiet village called Boston, it was evacuated by the government in the 1970s, supposedly to make way for a national park. But the real reasons behind the forced buyouts and sudden evictions remain wrapped in mystery. The abandoned homes, boarded-up buildings, and twisted roads left behind gave birth to the legend of Helltown, a place many believe to be cursed and possibly the most haunted spot in America. One of the most terrifying tales comes from the End of the World Road, a stretch of road that suddenly drops off into the woods. Drivers say their engines stall near the edge, and some have seen a ghostly figure standing in the trees, watching them without blinking. Another creepy story involves the old church at the edge of town, now long abandoned. People say satanic symbols were found inside, and a glowing red light is sometimes seen flickering through the windows at night. There's also the legend of the mutant creatures. Locals whisper about large, twisted animals roaming the forest, the result of chemical experiments gone wrong. One hiker claimed he saw something crawling on 2 legs with glowing eyes and thick, matted fur. He never returned to the woods again. Another traveler said he was followed for miles by something unseen, heavy footsteps crashing behind him, twigs snapping, and strange growling in the dark. One of the most disturbing encounters happened near an old school bus left to rot by the roadside. Some say the children inside were murdered, and at night, you can hear soft crying or even see small handprints appear on the foggy windows. Ghost hunters have tried to explore the area, only to have their equipment malfunction or be chased away by unseen forces. Another story tells of a fog that rolls in quickly and silently. Visitors say it's cold and thick, and when it surrounds you, you hear whispers in your ears, even if you're alone. Some people have reported losing time, arriving in daylight and coming out of the woods in pitch dark, with no memory of what happened. Helltown remains off limits in many areas, and those who dare to explore often leave with more questions than answers, and a sense of something following them home. Number 4. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park. Tucked away in the woods near Princeton, West Virginia, the abandoned Lake Shawnee Amusement Park looks like something out of a nightmare. Once filled with laughter, carnival music, and families enjoying the rides, the park now stands silent, its rusted Ferris wheel and skeletal swing ride barely moving in the breeze. But behind the faded paint and broken rides is a terrifying history. Built on an ancient Native American burial ground, the land has long been associated with tragedy, and many believe it's cursed. Today, it is known as one of the most haunted places in the United States. One of the scariest stories comes from the swings, where a young girl in a pink dress tragically died in the 1950s after being struck by a delivery truck. People say they've seen her ghost still swinging back and forth, even when there's no wind. Others claim the swing creaks loudly at night, and a child's giggle echoes through the trees. Another chilling tale involves the Ferris wheel. Several visitors have reported seeing a shadowy figure sitting in one of the top seats, only for it to vanish the moment they look again. One man swears he saw a hand reach out from an empty seat while the ride stood completely still. The lake itself holds dark secrets. 2 boys drowned in its murky waters decades ago. Locals claim that when the water is still, you can see ghostly faces beneath the surface, and some say they've heard splashing sounds even when no one is around. One paranormal investigator who spent a night on the property reported hearing chanting near the old ticket booth. He followed the sound into the woods and felt as if dozens of eyes were watching him. His equipment later captured what sounded like voices speaking in a language he couldn't understand. There's also the story of the ice cream stand. Though long abandoned, Some visitors say they smell sweets, vanilla and strawberry, and feel a sudden cold breeze as if someone just passed by. A woman once reported seeing a group of ghostly children running across the field where the rides once stood. Their laughter quickly turned into screams before they vanished into thin air. Lake Shawnee may be closed to the public, but it seems the spirits never left.